Lesson 9, the last lesson for this sub-quarter, and that is one sample t-test. Yes, we will define one sample t-test, and let's see what are the parang somehow criteria for us to say that a given problem should be under one sample t-test. So for one sample t-test, it determines whether the sample mean is statistically different from a known or hypothesized population mean. So from the last lesson, di ba, one sample t-test is parang trying to check if the given sample is a representation of the given population. For this one naman, yung one sample t-test, it is trying to check, or parang this statistical test ay they're trying to check if the given sample mean is different from the given population mean. So if that is your goal na you want to check if the sample mean is different from the given population mean, then you have to use one sample t-test. Next, the variables under one sample t-test should be interval or ratio. We already discussed how we're going to classify variables if it is under interval or ratio. So I will no longer discuss it. So for one sample t-test, the number of samples should be less than 30. So this is the difference between one sample z-test and one sample t-test. So for one sample z-test, diba, we should have a number of sample that is greater than or equal to 30. But for one sample t-test, your number of samples should be less than 30. The formula for one sample t-test is somehow the same with the formula with one sample z-test, given the sample standard deviation, and that is the sample mean minus the population mean all over the sample standard deviation over the square root of number of samples. Another thing is that for one sample t-test, there's no other formula aside for this formula. So, parang another clue nyo na the given problem is under one sample t-test is that the given standard deviation is for the sample only. Okay po. So, parang n should be less than 30, and then another thing is that the sample standard deviation should be also given.